Hello everyone and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create a basic funnel. So we're going to start off by creating the landing page, and then we're also going to create the thank you page. So I'm going to make this a two-part series because on the next part, I'll be showing you how to add your email capture so that anyone that signs up onto your page gets added to an email list. So today we're just going to build the basic landing page. And then in the next video, I'll be doing the other part. So there are options out there like ClickFunnels or Kartra and Builderall. They're slightly expensive. So if you're just starting off, this is the way you want to go because you can actually use the page builder that you have in order for you to build this. So in this tutorial, I'll be using specifically Divi. It's a very, very good page builder, very easy to use. I have a lot of tutorials on it. And also, if you want to learn how to use Divi, I have a course which has a massive 50% discount. The link to that is in the description below. And if you're just new to WordPress and how to design websites, I also have a free course that can help you get up and running with WordPress. So all of that information is in the links below. Today's episode is made possible by divicake.com. Check out their huge selection of Divi themes, layouts, and plugins. The link to that is in the description below. Okay, so let's get started. Let's create our landing page. Okay, so let's start by creating our brand new page. So I'm going to come over here to Pages and click on Add New. We're going to give this page a name. So let's just say WordPress promo. But you can also name this page whatever you like. Next, I'm going to click on Use the Divi Builder, and then we're going to go straight to the Visual Builder. Right, so over here, we're going to build this from scratch. So let's start off with a single column. So I'm going to select this one here. And then in that, we're going to add a title. So I'm going to select my text module. So all I'm doing here is I'm searching for it here in this bar. So you can see here as I'm typing, this is narrowing down. So I'm going to select my text module. So what I'm going to do here is to add my title. So let's say 100% free course. Okay, so that's going to be our main title. I'm going to come over here to design and we're going to center this. So I've clicked here on text. And then on text orientation, you want to make sure that is centered. Right, so the other thing that you can also do is you can come over here to content and set a heading to this. So I'm going to come over here to text. I'm going to highlight this text here. And then on this drop down, I'm going to select heading 4. Great. So now that we have a heading, we can now go in and customize it, but we're not going to do that yet. So I'm just going to go in and save. Right. So the next thing we're going to do here is to add 2 more columns. So I'm going to add a row. And these are the 2 columns we're going to add. So you can either choose 2 equal columns or you can choose 1/3, 2/3. In fact, let's go with this one here, 1/3, 2/3. Okay. So in this one here, we're going to add some text. So I'm going to search for my text module and select it. And we're just going to have our items in here. So what I'm going to do now to make things easier for me is I'm going to go to Lorem 2 so I can use some dummy text. Right. So I'm just going to highlight 3 benefits. Come back over here, and then I'm going to paste it like that. Okay, so these are going to be my 3 benefits. I'm going to save this for now. And then over here, I'm going to add a video. So it's important that if you can have a video, this is the video now that explains what offer you're giving away for free into more detail. But you can always have a title if you want to. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's add our video module. Like that. I'm going to select it. So by default, it comes with this dummy video here, which is okay. I'm going to go ahead now and save that. I also want to add a description here. So let me just add another row. Okay, it's going to be a single column. And again, I'm going to add a text module in here. Select it. Right, so what I'm going to do again, I'm going to come over here to Lorem 2 and just copy some of this text here and paste it in this content area. Like that. Okay, so the next stage now is to make sure that that is aligned center. So I'm going to come over here to design, text, and then I'm going to align center. Great. So now we have our main title there. We have our description, and these are our 3 benefits. And we also have a video that explains the offer that we have. So that is great so far. I'm going to go ahead now and save. Now I'm going to add another section. Okay, so I'm going to click this plus button, regular, and then I'm going to add a single column. In that column, I'm just going to add some text. So in this text, I'm just going to say sign up below to get your free whatever it is. So this is where you can name whatever it is you're giving away for free. So in this case, sign up below to get your free course. Okay, so I'm going to save that. In fact, I need to center it. Come over here to text, center it. Great. So now that we have this, we also need to add another module. So you can see here when I try to add a second module, this is not working because this plus button here is covering it. But anyway, we can always have a way around this by coming over here to expand settings. And then I'm going to click here on wireframe mode. And then I can click my this plus button here. And what we're going to have in here is code. So I'm going to select that, save that, and then I'm going to go back to my desktop view. Great. So now I have everything that I need. It's now time to customize this layout. So let's start off by adding maybe a color to this. So I'm going to come over here to my section settings, background, and we can add a background color. So this could be a solid color or even a gradient. So let's go ahead with a gradient here. So I'm going to click here, click this plus button, and then I'm going to add my first color. So right now I'm just adding, just random colors here. But in your case, you can use colors that you can choose from your branding. Okay, so I'm just going to paste my color in here, that, then I'm just going to create a gradient. Okay, so I'm going to go with that color, and then I'm going to go ahead and save. Right, so now let's customize this text. So I'm going to go into my text module here, and then I'm going to go into design, heading text. Now, if you want to go directly to that text, you can always come in here and click this little brush tool. Okay, so that will take you directly to that heading. Right, so the next stage now is to customize the text. So first of all, we want to make this all caps. We're going to change it to Poppins. So I'm going to come over here to my font, select my font in here. And then I'm also going to change the color because right now, as you can see, we can't read it in that dark background. So I'm going to change this to white, make it slightly bigger, but not too much. Okay, so I think 20 will do, or 21. Okay, and then over here, I'm going to add some letter spacing like that. That's great. I think I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead now and save. Next, I'm going to come over here and I'm also going to do the same thing to this text. I'm going to go in and customize it. So I'm going to click here on this gear icon, click on design, text, and then I'm going to make this text bigger like that. And then I'm going to add my line height. So here, let's try 1.8. Okay, so that's looking good. Over here, I'm going to change my font color. So I'm going to select it and make it white. And then I'm also going to come over here and change my font to Poppins. And this can be regular, that's fine. In fact, I'm going to come back over here and change this line height to maybe 1.6. Okay, so that looks much better. Great, so I'm pretty happy with how things are looking at the moment. So the next stage now is to now go in and customize these features. Okay, so I'm going to save this for now. And then I'm going to come over here, click my module settings, design, and then I'm going to come over here to text. So what we could also do here is to come to this unordered list and we could customize that as well. So I can change my color in here like that, change the size. So I think 18 is okay. Right, so I'm pretty happy with that. Now I'm going to come over here and change my font. So again, I'm going to keep it consistent by having it as Poppins. The color is fine as that. And then I'm going to go ahead and save. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to come into my row settings and I'm going to increase the size or the width of this area here. So I'm going to come over here to design, sizing, and then I'm going to click on use custom width. And then here, I'm just going to make it slightly bigger. Okay, so I'm going to go with maybe 1220. Now you can also use a percentage for this if you wanted to. So let me just show you how to do that. So if I switch over here to %, you can always adjust this. So in this case, I would go maybe with 60%. Okay, so I may want to add a bit of spacing between these benefits here. So let's go back and fix that. So I'm just going to save this for now. I'm going to go back in here by clicking this gear icon, design, text, Okay, so let's go with maybe 20. Yeah, I think 20 is fine. And then over here, come over here to the line height. I'm going to increase that to about maybe 2.2. So that just gives this, some breathing space, which is great. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm going to go ahead and save. And then what we may also want to do here is to add a title to this. Okay, so I'm going to search for my text. And then I'm going to just say benefits. Click here on design, text. I'm going to change the font to Poppins. We're also going to change the color of the text. Make this slightly bigger. Now this time we're going to underline this, okay, just to make it a bit different. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and save, and then I'm just going to drag this to the top like that. Okay, so now we have our benefits here, we have our title, and here is very clear what this is that we're giving away for free. So that's looking great. Now, over here on this video, what we could also do is we could add an overlay image. So let me show you how to do that. So I'm going to come over here to my module settings, and then I'm going to click on overlay, and then I'm going to add by clicking this plus button. Now, I have some images here in my media library, but if you don't have your images in your media library, what you could do is you could go to online and download some of these images. So let's say this is a nutrition type thing that we're giving away. Can come over here and choose this image and then click upload an image. So now you notice that this is the overlay image, and that looks way much better than what is pulled from YouTube. Okay, so that's looking great. So the next stage now, in fact, before I move on to the next step, let me show you quickly how you can add your own video. So if you come over here to video, what you could do is you can click here on this gear icon, and this gives you an option to insert the URL. So this is where you would add your URL for your video, but we're not going to do that now. So I'm going to close this. Now let's move on to the next thing. So I'm going to save this for now. Now let's work on the bottom here. So what you want to do again is to go into our module settings. We're going to change the color of the text and make it bigger as well. So I'm going to click on design, text. We're going to change the font to Poppins. We're also going to make this semi-bold. And then let's increase the size. Okay, we want this nice and big so people can see exactly what it is. Great, so now that we have that in place, let's go ahead and save. There's also more information that you can add for this free item that you're giving away. So what you could do is you could also add testimonials or frequently asked questions. Right, so let me show you how to add that. So I'm going to come over here to this plus button to add our section. I'm going to click on regular, and then I'm going to come over here and add a single column. So I'm going to add my module. So in this module, we are going to add FAQs. So I'm going to choose accordion. Okay, so at the moment we have these two by default. So I'm just going to add another one here by just duplicating this. Okay, so now we have a few more. So the next stage now is to customize this text. So I'm going to come in here and click on design text. Text orientation is fine. And then I'm going to click here on body text. Now here, I'm going to make this Poppins so that we have consistency in our design. So I'm going to make sure it's aligned left. Then I'm going to increase the size a little bit so it's easier to read. So I think 16 is okay. And the line height is fine as well. Right, so let's go ahead now and add our toggle text. So we're going to change the color, make it really dark. And then over here on the size, we're just going to increase this to about 20. And then over here on the font, we're going to make this Poppins. And then over here, we're going to make this nice and bold. So we're going to go to bold. Okay, so that's looking great. In fact, this dark color here is a bit too much. So let's just click here and let's change that color. Make it slightly, okay, let's go with that light gray. Okay, I think that's looking great. I'm going to go ahead now and save. So now when we click on this drop down, it will have this style. So these are your frequently asked questions. So I'm also going to click here and create a heading for that. So I'm just going to search for my text module and select it. And then over here, I'm just going to call this FAQ. I'll highlight this and give this a title of heading 1. Come over here to design, heading text. And then I'm going to set this to Poppins. And then over here for the font weight, I'm going to set this to ultra bold. And then I'm just going to increase the size a little bit. Okay, so I think 38 will do. And then I'm going to save. Now I just need to drag this to the top, just like that. Right, so there we go. Now we have our FAQ section. So this is nice and clean. And then finally, what you could also do is to add testimonials. So let's click this plus button here to add a new section. So I'm going to click on regular. So for this, we're just going to add 3 testimonials. So I'm going to click here on 3 columns and we're going to choose a person module. In fact, we could go with the testimonial as well if you wanted to. So let me just choose that. Okay. So there's our testimonial here. Now we can go in and customize it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to add the name here. So I'm just going to add my name. But of course, you want to add the name of the person that has used your product or the person that needs to add the testimonial. Okay, so here I'm just going to say entrepreneur, if I can spell it correctly. Okay, let's call this Divi University. So this dummy text here, I'm just going to leave that as it is. Now over here for the image, I'm just going to add my own image. So I'm going to click here. So what I'm going to do is, in fact, I don't have my image here. So I'm just going to use any image here. So I'm going to go with this one here. Click on upload an image. And I know that's not me. So, right. So next we're going to come over here to our design tab. So back over here on the content, all we need to do now is to duplicate this a few times and add it to these 2 columns. So I'm going to save this and then I'm just going to duplicate this 2 times and then just drag this into position. Right, so now once this is, in fact, we have more than we need, so I'm just going to delete that. So once you have these 2 in the right columns, all you have to do now is to go into the settings and then change the name. So over here, so instead of having that, you can just change this to Mark. Okay, change the company, and then over here on the image, you can change the image and add a different one. So I'm just going to go with this lady here. And I know we can't name the lady Mark, so let's go ahead and change that name. So back over here on the content. So let's call this Jenny. Okay. So that is how easily you can just go in and edit what you've duplicated here. Okay. So now that we have this, let's just separate this by adding a very light color here. So I'm just going to come over here to my section settings, click on background. And then I'm going to add a background color. So the color I'm going to add here is a really light color, but just to distinguish, these different areas here. Okay. So I'm going to start off with gray and let's see how that looks. So we can have it really dark if we wanted to. In fact, I think this works. I'm going to go with this really dark gray. Okay. Great. So now I'm going to go ahead and save. And we may also want to add a title here. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to come over here and just duplicate this text here. And then over here, I need to add a new row. So I'm going to click this plus button, single column. We're going to drag this to the top like that. And then I'm going to drag this title over here. So I'm just going to come over here, drag the handle. And now my title is in place. So all we have to do now is to go in and change that text. So instead of saying FAQ here, I'm just going to say testimonials like that. Next, I'm going to change the color. So I'm going to come over here to my heading text. And then I'm just going to give this a nice bright color. If we want to, we can just click here and just choose a light gray. And then save. Okay, so pretty much we have our landing page here. We have our testimonials, we have FAQs, and we also have this sign up area. All right, so now that we have all this, I'm going to go ahead now and save this. And then I'm going to go ahead and exit the Visual Builder. Right, so this is our final design. Right, so in most landing pages, we don't get to see this navigation because that is distracting. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the page and get rid of that. So I'm going to come over here to edit page. And then over here, we want to make sure that our template is set to blank. Click update. And then I'm going to click here on view page. So you'll notice now that we don't have the header and the footer. So this is going to be our landing page. Okay, so in part 2, I'll show you how to add your opt-in form and also how to create the thank you page.